Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm working on an art journal page, so get comfy and let's get crafty. This is mood board number 38 for the Artsy Trio Facebook group. It was created or curated by Gina Ahrens, and its title is Painting with Nature. There are lots of nature elements and nature colors in that, and I'm kind of using the colors, the color pattern, and a little bit of the nature. So I have my printed out mood board here, and I'm going to start my art journal page. I have a piece of mixed media paper that I'm going to cover with scrapbook paper. This is an old piece of probably Stampin' Up! Scrapbook paper, and I am going to adhere it to my mixed media paper. This is a 5.5 by 8 inch sheet of mixed media paper, and I'm going to adhere it with liquid medium. This is a matte medium, so it will not be shiny, and I'm just going to put that scrapbook paper or the pattern paper down on top of that. My paper is kind of rolling up. It comes on a roll, so sometimes it does kind of want to roll back up. And I'm just using my paintbrush. I'm also adding some of that matte medium to the top of the pattern paper as well, creating a non-porous surface to work with on my art journal page. I'm making sure that all of my edges are sealed down really well because, like I said, the mixed media paper is kind of rolling up. This pattern paper is not quite thick enough to use as the page on its own, so that's why I've added that extra piece of paper in there. I am going to go ahead and heat set that with my heat tool, and it wasn't quite dry, so I flipped it over to heat set the back as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim that down. I'm using my Fiskars wire guided paper trimmer. This just makes it so I can get right up on the edge, especially if I didn't line things up exactly. I can get right up along the edge and get a nice clean cut on my art journal page. I used this pattern paper, that's what I was looking for, because it's kind of got a text background. It's a photocopy of like a ship's log or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and add some more color to this with some Distress acrylic paint. I think this was the color Vintage Photo. And I'm using a little piece of a makeup sponge. I have a bunch of dollar store makeup sponges that I cut into tiny pieces. And I'm not sure why I cut them into tiny pieces because literally I bought the entire package at the Dollar Tree for $1 because I bought them before everything went to $1.25. So there's that. Once I got a little bit of paint on there, I pulled out a mostly dry but a little bit damp baby wipe just to kind of spread that around a little bit better. It's a little more effective than that little teeny tiny piece of makeup sponge. And I'm going to clean off my work surface and dry that off, and then I will heat set that paint so I can move on to the next step. For my next step, I'm adding some background. So I have this Hero Arts texture stamp set, and I'm using 3 different colors of archival ink. One is, the green is called, well, I don't know, let me open my drawer. The green one is fern green, then cornflower blue, and what is the brown one? Potting soil. So I am using bits and pieces of the stamp set. There are some that look like liquid, drops of liquid. I'm using those with the potting soil ink. There are some that look like paintbrush strokes. So I'm using all 3 colors for all of the texture stamps I'm using. So I've got some liquid marks. I've got some, yeah, they look like paint spots, and then paintbrush strokes. I'm also going to be using the stamps that look like clocks and cogs. And I'm going to be using the alphabet. It's ABC stamp. Most of this is not really visible. It's very light colors. And it's all just for texture in the background. Like even looking at the page, it's there, but it is not the thing that you see. This is just to put some texture and background into the background of my page, kind of adding on to that text print that was already there. And I'm using the green, I'm using the blue, I'm using the brown. I did use the blue for the alphabet, and it is like the least noticeable color on the page because it is so light blue, and my page is inherently a little darker with the vintage photo. I also pulled out this Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous stamp set, and I'm using this kind of vine, the floral corner piece. I'm going to add a little bit of that vine down in the bottom right corner and the top left corner. I did not re-ink my stamp. Again, this isn't meant to be noticeable. So these colors, this color palette is the Painting with Nature color palette from the mood board. So my focal image is going to be from this botanicals book that I purchased from Miriam Small Art. And in addition to that, I have a whole bunch of leaf die cuts that I cut out of vellum and then sprayed with distress spray stains. And I'm just going to use that giant purple flower. I don't know what kind of flower it is. It just, like, the purple was exactly like it was it. There's like one image on the mood board that has this nice deep purple, and this was kind of like the thing I chose. So I cut that oh my goodness, words are hard. I cut the flower out of that book, and then I'm adhering down all of these leaf die cuts that I die cut out of vellum. So I have one that looks like a fern. I have one that looks like an ivy. I've got one that looks a little bit like a succulent. And I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue to the back of them. They're going to be mostly covered up, so it's not a big deal that they're vellum. But also, again, I sprayed them with some brown and green distress spray stains. Wow, words are hard. Words are hard today. So I'm adding the leaves behind where the flower is going to go, just to give a little bit more depth and dimension. And because they are those same like greens and browns, they don't pop off the page the way that purple flower does. They just kind of hang out. They hang out and add some background to my flower. This is a very, very, very simple art journal page. I planned actually to add more, and when I got the flower on there, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm stopping now. So I did decide to go ahead and use foam tape to add this flower. I've got a big roll of foam tape, 3-dimensional foam tape from Altenew that I'm using in my craft room right now. And so I put a bunch of foam tape on the back of the flower. I even trimmed out some really small slivers to go down the stem. And I did have to fuss at that a little bit. The foam tape kept trying to come off and stick to my fingers. So then I lined up the cutoff edge with the edge of my art journal page and just went ahead and adhered this down. It's a little bit shinier than I want it to be, but I'll go ahead and put some matte medium over the top of that and it won't be shiny. The only other thing I added to this page was a 3-word quote that says, "And I wait." And to be totally honest, I made this video before I got sick, and I can't remember what those 3 words like triggered it. Like, I don't know what triggered those 3 words in my brain. They don't have anything to do with nature, or painting with nature, except that I guess maybe they do, because when I made this page, the leaves in our area were starting to change. They were going from those greens into those deep yellows and oranges and reds, which I love about the part of Virginia I live in. We have such beautiful fall, which is really great, but then winter is just gray. But I just added that 3-word phrase, "and I wait." And I was going to add, like, I put that matte medium over the top of it. I was going to add some outline to the text block. I was going to add some more florals to the page, and I decided to just stop. So I grabbed my ATG and I put some double-sided adhesive right as close to the edge as I could, and I put the other half of that pattern paper on the back of my art journal page. And thinking about it now, knowing I was going to double it up, I could have left that mixed media paper out of the middle. But, I don't know that was always the plan. Like I said, I had a lot of things on my desk that I intended. I had some rolls of washi tape. I had some other stamps. I had lots I was going to add to this page, and I just stopped. I did go ahead and add the holes so I can put it into my binder, and I'm putting some double-sided adhesive on my mood board copy so I can put that into my art journal page. And I'm going to go ahead and sign it. This is for the month of October 2024. So here we're going to zoom in just a little bit. I will let you know that Artsy Trio is having a awesome December, a bunch of videos, so check that out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this really quick, short video. I have a couple other videos here that I think you would enjoy. I've also added that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and I hope you have a really fabulous day.